All right, hi everybody. It is Wednesday, June 10th. I'm going to try to continue on with my explanation of, as far as um, how this reality, how its nature, basically. Recapping that, obviously we were basically spiritual entities that are inhabiting physical bodies. Well, there's a lot of other entities out in the universes. Like it just goes on forever. Um, um, and to be honest, a lot of these entities have been around for millions of years too. They're really old entities, but a lot of them out there are not positive in nature. They're kind of service to self rather than service to others oriented. Um, so this particular system that we're in right now, it was hacked. What I mean by hacked is basically invaded and then basically manipulated to control it. Probably around 45,000 years ago or so. That's kind of what I'm picking up. There's no exact, date on that. Um, but to just give you a perspective of the creatures or the entities that are inhabiting this and controlling us, they know how to manipulate through mind control for sure, uh, far better than we can ever understand. And it's almost like we're like almost like the new kids on the block, and we've been messed with a lot. Um, I think guess one of the bigger indications that one of the differences is we have uh, a lot of emotions, which is basically a sign of someone having basically a highly spiritual um, orientation, which we all do, because just like all the other entities out there, really most of them, not all of them, but we're all part of Source or part of God. Now we basically have different expressions of that, and and in different stages of learning and experiences. For us, I'm not exactly sure how old the human species is, but we've been around for quite some time as well. But anyway, so basically we're being used, manipulated, and picked on by other races of entities, other beings out there. So when we're thinking about what's happening here on Earth, when we see wars being played out, um, religious battles, all this stuff, it's almost like they're messing with us constantly, and they're basically getting into our heads and making us basically play out these scenarios for them to basically feed off of our energy. I'm going to give you two other movies to use as examples. One of them is The Dark Crystal. It's they kind of treat us a lot like that, where it was like this young small entity that they're trying to basically get the source of their energy from, in order to they basically feed off of us. So there's a lot of that going on. And the other movie I want to use for an example of this situation we're in also is Never Ending Story. See, a lot of these movies and TV shows, a lot of times it's kind of a soft disclosure for us to kind of wake up to what's going on, or it's been basically they've been influenced or inspired by real things that are happening to us, and it comes out in a story or or a movie like that or something. But yeah, like with Never Ending Story, this young child, he starts to realize that he is part of the story. His thoughts and everything are actually writing the story at the same time he's reading it. So basically, he's participating in it. What we don't realize is this is happening to us all the time. Take, for instance, what's just been happening lately is the fact that we beat the system of which was going to be a deadly virus to take out probably millions of people, but we basically said no to it. We said no. Just like I say that a lot to, for instance, sicknesses or illnesses in my life. It's just like, once you realize you have that choice, you can say no to things. I don't want to experience this, or I don't want to go through this. Then you start realizing, well, actually, you can control not only your story, which we all do, whether we realize it or not, usually just through a series of choices. But I'm just saying, if we can control our lives on a singular perspective, obviously when we have a combined consciousness or basically combined goals together, when we all think about manifesting something positive or beating something or fighting against some sort of tyranny or something, we have that power. We do. We just don't even realize it. And as a matter of fact, we generally do it, subconsciously. We're not even aware we're doing it, but we are. And that's basically what I'm trying to say is, and now that I realize that we're basically these entities, just like us inhabiting a human body, they can also inhabit human bodies, and they're basically, as you know, they put themselves in positions of power, and whether it's owning huge corporations or definitely the media, they've basically taken control and they're basically playing us. So we have to fight against it. And what I mean by that is basically stop falling for their mind games. It's really what it is. And as you can kind of tell, I told you the last video too, is they're running out of ideas. They're just playing old scenarios over and over again, ones that they thought were pretty successful. But it's their agenda, their fear agenda, and they're trying to control us because they realize more than we do that we have so much power. We can just end their reign tomorrow if we all were positive and came together more in compassion and understanding and love for each other. So if we quit falling for this anger and hate and division, we can beat them. We can absolutely just destroy them. And they're aware of that. So that's why they're kind of also running scared too, because they realize if they don't keep this up, we're going to break out of this control system that they have, and we're going to basically defeat them, which is obviously what we want to do. This is where we're shooting for. We just don't realize it. The first step was realizing what they're doing to us, and yes, they do exist. No, it's that we're being affected by outside this earthly plane, basically. In other words, we're being influenced, boots on the ground here in the physical realm, but also outside of it as well. And we have a lot of control. We can change this situation. So that's basically what I wanted to say today. These are just insights that I've been just reading about, as well as I'm getting downloads and picking up on. And as usual, just don't take my word for it. Do research it, and if this rings true to you, okay, you can get something out of it. But I don't know everything. I'm still learning this stuff, at the same time. So, anyway, that's all I can really think about to tell you guys for today. And I'll do probably another update maybe later this weekend or something. So have a good rest of the week, and let's just stay positive. That's all. It's the main message I keep getting. Okay, bye.